Yo, Elliot. So we got this question from our buddy Adam. He wants to know what the difference is between doing a conventional deadlift and a sumo deadlift, right? I mean, you would assume that they're both deadlifts, so they're probably doing the same thing. And Adam's situation is such that he preferred doing the sumo. He just wants to make sure that he's not missing out on anything with regard to the conventional. So the main point that I want to drive home with this video is where your center of gravity is in relation to your base of support with regard to each exercise. So for example, if you watch me do a conventional deadlift, your center of gravity is placed a little bit in front of your base of support. Just look at how my body lines up, where my chest is, right? Boom. Just slightly. I'm tipped forward just a little bit. I've got even bends in my ankles, knees, and hips. Right? That's the first thing. When I open up like this, watch the bends specifically in my hips and in my ankles and knees. I mean, really, it's mostly in the knees. My center of gravity now is over my heels as opposed to here. My center of gravity was more like over the middle of my foot. Here, center of gravity is back in my heels. So I can sit back. Look how much more upright I am here. Boom. I'm so much more upright. So what that means is you're not using as much core. When your center of gravity goes over your base of support, this part of your body has to cinch down and tighten up that much more, otherwise you will break form. When you're here, because you're upright, there's not as much stress. The lever is a lot shorter. So if I'm upright, boom, I don't have to use as much core, as much abdominal strength. So there are a number of ideas I want to make sure that you understand. Using a sumo deadlift may be resourceful for someone who is just learning how to pull off the ground, just learning how to deadlift, and does not have the core strength to maintain good posture, right? Even curves in their spine. They just can't do it. Either they're too tight or too weak. The other thing is oftentimes you'll be one of these people that just have really long legs, tall athletes, and short arms. So you end up with they just can't bend anymore at their ankles and knees, and they end up looking like this when they conventionally deadlift. With someone like that, you want to get the legs out of the way. You get the legs out of the way by opening it up, and you can still, if you're meticulous about how you coach the athlete or how you coach yourself, you can still ask them to bend forward, lever arm, boom. Bend the knees, tip forward. So they're doing two very different things. This is more of a squat with the bar in your hands, as opposed to a true bend, where your gravity is challenging the strength of your core because your center of gravity moves in front of your base of support. Try to work both of them. If you're too tall, like I said with regard to those athletes that just got too long of legs or short of arms, put blocks underneath your plates. Bring the bar up to you somewhat so that you can do a conventional stance, feet underneath the shoulders, especially if you're a basketball player or football player, and then pull from here. So I hope that helps, dude. Talk to you next time. Yo, Elliot.